I guess because the thing I saw else in the world is a return to like real anti-Semitism, right? Well, it always was. Okay. So interestingly, I'm going to talk about anti-Semitism and what it is, and I think what it's been proven to be in the past week. People have been saying, I think rightly, Tim Pool, right? I think this is where he's stuck. He's been saying, criticizing Israel is an anti-Semitism, which he's right? But then at the same time he says, but then there's all these anti-Semites. So I don't want to tell you who they have no idea why they're there. They're just like woke brain control, mind virus, brain control zombies, right? And then he brings up the third point, like it says, nobody gave a shit about anything until it had something to do with Israel, right? Fair point, right? Fair point. Now, it may be a fair point, but it's playing to my advantage, I think. So I don't give a shit. I don't think anybody else will give a shit either. I'm just more open and honest about it, right? So there's a lot going on, right? There's a lot going on. So I'm going to try and pass this through my crazy theological worldview. So first, let's have a look and see what's been going down. Now, again, I talked about this briefly on my last stream, but I really hadn't. I hadn't concretized my thought. I hadn't really got my thoughts down on it yet, right? I was still like, for me, I was just kind of like hit by like, whoa, that's kind of wild, right? That's kind of wild. So here, I think this is a very good example of what these pro-Palestine, I think pro-Hamas demonstrations, like sit-ins are, like occupations are, which is so weird. Occupation is bad. So when protest your occupation by occupying. Okay, I don't know. I guess it makes me think it's somewhat projection.
We have Zionists.
Look at this brainless adherence being used against me. Like I don't want to downplay that angle, but like, look, it's insane. Have you ever seen Westworld season 4? So it's a bit of a spoiler, right? Westworld's awesome. Westworld is it's a show I've watched several times because there's so many levels of depth to it and nobody really knows it, which really upsets me, right? Like nobody realizes how insanely good it is, right? I would love to meet or talk to Lisa Joy, the woman who created it, because like this, it just kills me. There's so many layers that people are not aware of, and it's such a wonderfully, beautifully put together show. I should just keep writing to her agent. I should do that, right? I should write. I mean, like, she can't be that big a fucking deal. Nobody knows her name. Anyway, I digress, right? So Westworld is about a theme park with robots in, and the robots become self-aware. It's about the creation of new life, right? And the inevitable place this ends is this new life by the season 4 completely dominates and controls human life to the extent that most of season 4 is about this human city where people are controlled like robots by the robots, right? So, but it's a lot like this mindless control.
Have entered the camp. We are going to create a human chain.
Imperial troops have entered the base. Imperial troops are...
We are going to create a human chain.
Where I am standing. So
again, we are all going to think as one. This is really freaky.
So that they do not pass this point. And infringe upon our privacy.
Jews out is what they're saying. Jews out. Now, here. And look, it just goes on, right? And they and they form a line and they basically say Jews out, right? This is their language.
Please join me in this chain.
You see how hostile this is? And you're asking me not to record?
Walk and take a step forward.
It's like, this is not hostile. Yeah. You're driving Jews out, right? You're literally driving Jews out, right? This is anti-Semitism.
Yeah, I absolutely feel threatened right now.
Yeah, why wouldn't you feel fucking threatened? There's a mob saying that you're a genocidal baby murderer, right? And I don't know about you. Most people don't like genocidal baby murderers, right? Weirdly enough.
So that we can start to push them out of the camp.
Once and again. So yes, this is anti-Semitism. Okay, this is not, and they're just Jews, right? So here's my problem, amongst my problems, that the argument has moved on very skillfully, right? In an insane manner, because these kids, they really believe Israel is conducting an inhuman war, a war that is just outside the realm of human morality, and they believe that, right? They believe that, right? So here's the interesting thing, and there's a lot of moving parts to this, because for some reason, I don't know what it is, there's a deep state, right? There's a permanent elitist class that really wants Israel and really wants Israel to get weapons, right? They really want to, and I don't know why, right? I do not know why, but we exist for them. Not the idea. I can see why people will say, "Oh, look, the Jews are controlling the world because they're controlling." Nobody did anything, right? When you had all these insane leftist stuff on campus the last 10 years, right? Anti-Christian, anti-white, and all openly. It's illegal to have racial quotas, right? They just did it. We don't know shit, right? What's it going? So, where was it going? Now I have to backtrack. Anti-Christian, why it's been going forever? And so and that's why we see. Well, all of a sudden, there is a handbrake stop, right? And you see that's the who on one level is really, really running things, right? Which I think is deep state intelligence agencies, whatever you want to call it. They really want this Israel thing to go forward. However, right, the party they have used to maintain control of late was the Democrats. The Democrat and an important part of the Democrats is this youth vote, which they completely lost with their support of Israel. Why do they support Israel? I don't know. I don't know. Right? I really genuinely have no idea. Right? And I've asked people and nobody has any idea. Something's going down. Something's happening. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Somebody's making money somewhere, right? Yeah, and what's really driving this war? Again, I'm speaking on a this reality level, right? I'm going to start talking about greater realities above this in a second. But this reality, what's driving the war? Commerce, right? I mean, listen, the the weapons industry, they've struck gold, right? They have come up with a product so insanely consumable, right? That you have to literally destroy it to use it. Like bullets. You got to literally blow it up so you can use it, right? That's its job, to blow up. But don't worry, we'll make you plenty more. No problem. We can keep on making it. It's the most consumable product in the history of products, right? And they can make them very big, these things that have to blow up. Missiles. The job is to blow up. One-time use, baby. Boom. All right? That's why this war's going on, right? Now, don't be wrong. It was an alignment of opportunities. You had Hamas, genocidal Jew-hating murderers, right? So that's the way. But these kids are completely devoid of the facts. I picked this, and it's incredible because this has shattered all partisan lines. Because you have people who don't like Jews everywhere. So let's take a little step back and talk about what anti-Semitism is. Anti-Semitism is I would say it's a nearly, not subconscious. What's that word? They're unconscious, right? It's a nearly unconscious hatred of Jews, Here it is. It's a nearly unconscious hatred of Jews, and that's why the target of it changes and the method of it changes over and over time. Over and over. The rationale for it changes. Let's say the rationale of not liking Jews changes all the time, right? With every iteration of anti-Semitism. All right, Jews are communists. Jews are capitalists. Jews, Jews are genetically impure. All right, there's all these different reasons that mutate through time, because it always has to. When you say it's a dislike of Jews, a near unconscious, subconscious dislike of Jews. It's not complete subconscious. I can go into the mechanism, what's going on with it. So near subconscious dislike of Jews, which always points itself at the primary representation of Jews in the world, right? And because Jews are a somewhat amorphous species, their primary representation changes over time, right? It used to be the religion, right? The Jewish religion was the definition of what a Jew was, right? So then, and then we had the antisemitism was like the blood labels of instead of you're doing genocide on Palestinians, you're kidnapping children and using their blood to make matzahs, which is what we're reading this week. Let me tell you, the salt enough it is, baby. You don't need it. And quite frankly, Christian baby blood is way too expensive per pound, right? You want to go for some kind of heathen country girl. I'm sure you get something way cheaper. I digress. Anyway, we don't do that. But yeah, and then when Jews started becoming integrated into modern societies and stopped being religious in Germany, right, in the 20s and 30s, right, and this was part of Nazi propaganda. They said now they shaved their beards and they dress like us. We can't tell them apart. It became the Jews were genetically impure, right? Because it always has to. Because it's the religious Jew, religion wasn't the primary identification of Judaism anymore, right? Because again, it's a near unconscious hatred of Jews, right? It's really a near unconscious hatred of Jews, which goes. Let's talk about what that is, right? When I say near, this is what I'm talking about. Everybody has a personal worldview, a tree of beliefs and ideas, right? That your other ideas are built off, right? But you have core ideas. So one core idea, it's kind of like a race memory, is a feeling that imagine you have a neighbor who is who you can't stand because he makes you look at your failings, right? Maybe he's like a very virtuous person, right? So that's where I think anti-Semitism comes from. Not that Jews are so virtuous, as Jews are essentially in Judeo-Christian culture labeled as the chosen people, right? Even though Christianity came along and said, no, they're not anymore. It's that primal stone, right, at the core of our societal understanding, right, of Jews believing they're the chosen people. That is, I think, the root of most anti-Semitism, right? Because they feel well, you to tell me what? You're not so late, and it's been the same thing. Right? Now, added to that, it doesn't help that Jews are insanely arrogant. And it really doesn't help, right? But speakers, I'm pretty arrogant. I have quite strong beliefs in my own opinions. You might have noticed. Anyway, so that's what anti-Semitism is. So one of the primary forms of anti-Semitism is blood labels, as I said before, right? Saying that Jews are kidnapping children using their blood to make their matzahs, right? The blood label. So now I believe the narrative of there's a genocide going on. So when there isn't, here, I saw this clip. It was on MSNBC of all things, where they, for one moment, started to quote the facts, right? I was like, well, that's crazy. So let's watch this for a second.
Even with American wars, they don't add up.
I want to show you one more clip of that, of Scott Brzezinski.
Right, this is from the Rubin report. Otherwise, I would never have watched it, right? So he's basically saying what I've been saying. The numbers that say that Israel is in any way fighting an inhumane war just don't add up. Our casualty rate our civilian casualty rate is far lower than America and England. It just is, factually, right? I mean, what, you're looking at 20,000, 25,000 civilian casualties? Yes, that's terrible, right? It's a drop in the bucket for any modern war. This is what war looks like, right? This is what a war looks like.
Peeves seems to be one of your pet peeves, and that is, 2 million people have been killed in the Sudan civil war. I haven't seen a protest in NYU for that. Assad killed 500 Arabs. I didn't see colleges burned down. 500,000 Arabs killed by Assad.
Okay, 2,500,000. Nobody's disputing this at all. No one's saying, oh, look over there. It's what? No, and don't look at this. We're saying we have one consistent standard. And if your standard is not Jews involved, don't give a shit. 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 Jews involved, fuck you, you Nazi cunt! Right? If it goes like that, then yeah, it might be anti-Semitic. And I want to get again. Tim Paul will say, look, you can't say legitimate criticism. No, you didn't say legitimate. You can't say criticism of Israel is anti-Semitism. And I think that's a fair point. That's why I'm very clear to say legitimate criticism of Israel is very rarely anti-Semitism. Illegitimate criticism of Israel is always anti-Semitism, right? Well, if I said, why are you Americans so into kiddie porn, right? Why are you so into pedophilia? Now, while there is a lot of it about, I don't think the average American is like, oh, yeah, let's have sex with a baby. I don't think most Americans like, I think it's a fringe value. But, yeah, again, to intimate that it's something that is normal and commonplace in America, that's an illegitimate criticism, right? And maybe it is. I don't know. I haven't been to America for a while. Anyway.
Saddam Hussein killed over 1 million Muslims in wars. I gassed them. I didn't see protests there. And yet your school is shut down right now because Israel is responding to the worst attack against Jews worldwide since the Holocaust. Help us sort through that.
I love this incredibly Gentile way of saying Holocaust. The Holocaust.
We can debate that response.
I don't know algebra, but I'm pretty good at the common denominators here and why there's no common denominators in all of these. It's just that it's Jews defending their homeland.
Here's the thing: if you're vaguely honest, you kind of get caught with it. If you're honest and you pay any form, you go like, "Oh yeah." The only thing is, it's Jews, mate.
Because if you look at the numbers, even with American wars, they don't add up.
Well, first off, good to be with you, and I especially appreciate your leadership on this issue. I'll give you some more numbers. 2,200 American servicemen killed at Pearl Harbor. We go on to kill 3.5 million Japanese, including 100,000 in one night.
Hey, 2,200 to 300, what did he say, 3 million? So, really? Okay, so that seems like we are doing really well.
2,800 Americans in 9/11. We go on to kill 400,000 people in Afghanistan and Iraq. We weren't accused of genocide. You had, if Mexico had elected a jihadist cartel to run their country, and then they incurred into Texas, and on a per capita basis killed 35,000 people, or the population of the University of Texas, and on the way back took the freshman class at SMU hostage and hid them under tunnels, what would we do? It'd be
and that's the thing. People are like, that's why they scream at you, right? But here's the point, right? What is the point of saying that Israel is committing genocide? What is the point of it? And the point of it is where we're at right now, to exclude Jews from society. Right now, you are excluding Jews, right? And it's not you, and society is allowing Jews to be excluded from your educational facilities, right? Literally excluded, right? This is a long clip, so I'm only going to show you a bit of it. We looked at it the other day. Where is it? So many weird things. Here we go.
University keeping the media out. This is the COO of the university.
Yeah, so essentially they deactivated his car because they didn't want any problem.
Are we not letting
They didn't want to go in.
any in? What? Can you back up, please? My card has been deactivated? Yeah. Why? Can you back up, please? Wait. Everybody, my card has been deactivated. This is
the end goal, to exclude Jews from society, right? This has always been the end goal, to exclude Jews from society. And I've been telling you that literally for years. Like, literally, this is what I said happens, right? And here we are. But it's a weird thing we're up to, right? Because this is a weird fourth, fifth generation of warfare we see being played out. Essentially, they believe this because China is using TikTok, right? And it sounds crazy, but that's what's going on. The U.S. intelligence service don't have control over TikTok, so they just banned TikTok, right? You see the gloves are off straight away. They're like, what the fuck? Get rid of this. So what do I think really is going on? Look, I look at everything from a very theological point of view. I think God's real, right? And I go, wonder what one's, and I have a whole, intense and complicated worldview, right? That based around God being real, right? So, and I think we're in the process of a messianic event, right? And it's interesting because right now we're having a heat wave in Israel. It's very, very, very hot. It's like, what is the temperature today? I want to say it was like 100 centigrade. It was crazy. It was, or Fahrenheit. I don't know. I want to say Israel weather. Doink. It is Israel weather. Israel weather. Is that one? Look. Right. It was like 35 today or something. Yeah. It was like 35 today. It was really hot. 35 and yesterday too, right? And tomorrow the heat's going to break. It goes down to like 25, right? And at the first day of this month, we're in this very weird redemptive month called Nisan, right? Which is where the Exodus happens, which is why I'm celebrating Passover right now. And I am celebrating. It's great. I've had a bit of a mini vacation. But and like I started off saying we're in this period of time called Sfirat HaOmer, right? Sfirat HaOmer is a cauldron of bubbling spiritual energy, right? And the third night just started. I have to. Okay, I'm sorry. As I said that, I realized because all this intense, bizarre Jewish law, I've actually got to say the blessing now. So I'm sorry. You're supposed to say this with the blessing, and if you forget, so okay, this is another level of stress in my life, right? If I forget to say this goes on for 49 days. If I forget to say the blessing on it, I can't, and I forget to say it during the next day, then I can't say the blessing anymore. I'm like, I don't want to lose the blessings. So here we go. And so it's Baruch Adonai Eloheinu Melech haShekel Mitzvah V'Tzivanu Al Sfirat Omer Hayom Shlosha Yomin LaOmer. So that's translated to blessed are you. This is the same form for all Jewish blessings. Blessed are you, loving God and harsh judgmental God, King of the universe, right? Who has commanded us with the commandment of counting her Omer. I'll talk about more of that in a minute. And today is the third day of the Omer. Then you have this little thing you say after, Charachaman, the merciful one, will you please return to us the work in the holy Jewish temple, Limkomo in its place, Bim Heirav Yomenu, speedily and days Amen Salah. There you go. I gotta be careful about what I tell everybody. So anyway, there we go. Then we got here. Now I've got to copy it, right? And I got to put it on my family WhatsApp. Doink, doink, doink. It's away. Fine. So yeah, we're in this very spiritual time called Sfirat HaOmer, and it's there's been genuinely miraculous days in modern times. Like you probably don't know about the War of 1948 and the War of 1967, both of which concluded in this 49-day period, right? We also got another thing on the 33rd day, which is a real pinnacle of spirituality. So here's what I think is going on. I think everything is being moved around. Everything is as for 5-dimensional chess. Was it 3-dimensional chess? What's the one that Spock played? Right there, yeah. I think it's like that 3-dimensional Star Trek chess. Right, things are being moved around in ways that we can't really see. But I love the way God is doing it. Like how did I think God wanted this war to happen? Right, I think God. I think it very obviously. Right, because it started on this day where judgment for the nations are given. Right, nobody really made. It's funny, I've been talking to my local rabbi. I said, look, just nobody mentions this stuff. Like everybody's terrified of talking about it. I don't know. I think people are scared in general. Anyway, but I think God's moving things around, right? God's moving things around, and I love the way He's doing it. Like I see the greed of the politicians and the arms manufacturers and the hatred of Jews from Hamas. Like you saw the absolute hatred that they have of Jews. Like it's breathtaking. Like even if you're not a Jew, you go, oh, man, you really didn't like him. Like that's really bad, the stuff you did, right? And all God had to do, right? All God had to do to go bink to start this these dominoes hitting each other, right, and toppling, is to remove the block, whatever spiritual block there was, protecting Israel from Hamas, right, for one morning, right? That's all he had to do, and change the world forever, right? It changed the world forever, and I think things have spun out of control. I think, right, we have an untethered deep state. They don't have a party anymore. They have parts of the Republican Party. They have parts of the Democratic Party. Like, again, I love that whatever is going on behind closed doors is benefiting Israel. I think that is God's plan, right? So it's interesting. I had this conversation on the first night of Passover with my older son, right? When you read this book called about the redemption, called the Haggadah, you read it. It's like it's a ritual thing, right? It's quite, we make it fun, right? But his point was this: that he felt that the coming redemption, right, is a greater miracle because it will be done without miracles. It'll be done normally. And I felt that the redemption of Egypt would be. I just want bling. Okay, that's what I'm saying. I just want bling. But like, I think these anti-Semitic, and they are pure anti-Semitic. Again, as I told you many, many, many times over. What is the point of saying that Israel is committing a genocide, or Israel is fighting an immoral war in any way? It's to force Jews from society, right? It's always been to force Jews from society, right? So, it's like, legitimate criticism of Israel is an anti-Semitism. Illegitimate criticism, right, that Israel is committing a genocide, it's always anti-Semitism, and we're at the goal of the anti-Semitism right now. If you have any friends who don't buy this, anybody you know who vehemently disagrees, I'm open to have a genuine conversation with anyone. I really, really, really am, without a non-pejorative, open conversation with absolutely anybody on this. You're more than welcome. Send out the light the banners. No, light the pyres. What they do in Lord of the Rings. On a spiritual level, right? On a spiritual level, the coming of a Messianic age is described as a rising sunset, right? A slowly rising sunset. And part of that process is an eradication of evil, right? And it's eradication of evil. It has to be it's called an awakening from below, awakening from earth, from us, right? So maybe God put us in a position where we had to wipe out Hamas, right? And that is the eradication of evil. And that's why they all don't want us to go into Rafah, right? They're all terrified of us going into Rafah because I think on a subconscious spiritual level, they know once that happens, once that last building block, boom, goes down, then it's everything's changing, right? Everything's changing. And I don't know what's going on with Rafah. Like my son went back to Gaza on what day was it? On Wednesday, right? He went back to Gaza yesterday. Apparently, he had to fix up his tank or something. I don't know. But then they got like this fun day that these Americans paid for, where they went to this like, about 50 of them went to this like nice spa with a pool, and they hang out and they're having a big barbecue, and then they just got sent back home again for Sabbath, maybe, probably, right? And they say everybody was saying that the Rafah operation was starting on Sunday, which made me think it probably wasn't. And now they say they're delaying it. I know. All I know is I think God is controlling everything, right? I think it's controlling it. Where he's taking us to, I think it's somewhere pretty good. Will it be scary? Yeah. I was saying this at the beginning. We're in a heat wave right now, and the heat's about to break tomorrow. And so it's very, very hot, then gone quickly. The beginning of this month, as the month started, there was these huge storms, these massive storms, right? And then they're gone very quickly. I think that's God trying to tell you bad things are coming, scary things are coming, but will be over pretty quickly, right? Over. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.